overlay. But with that being said, we are getting into game number 1 on ESV Cloud Kingdom between Fnatic aLive and Complexity Minigun. And it's loading, man. We're almost there.
We're in the loading screen. Fnatic aLive versus Minigun. Here we go.
Almost. Here we go.
All right, we're in the game. In the bottom left-hand location, we have the blue Protoss player, the underdog, the hero for many, the North American hope. One of those Protoss players that I've always regarded as one of those guys that can really make a splash for himself, really make a name as well. And I have high hopes for him to go places. He is Minigun from Team Complexity. His opponent in the top right-hand location, the purple Terran player aLive from Team Fnatic, a ferocious Terran player. If I ever ran into him, I don't know how it would happen on the ladder. Maybe I fought a winning streak of 10 and I run into him. I would just probably GG at the start because there is absolutely no way I could play against this guy. He is so good. But can Minigun? That is the question. PVT on Cloud Kingdom.
Minigun got it, man. I actually sent Minigun a few replays of me beating Fnatic aLive, told him exactly what build orders to go for. He has his timings down, so it should be easy peasy for Minigun. Actually, joking aside, Minigun, it's going to be hard, man, but he is confident as ever. I talked to him before the match, told him a few things regarding Fnatic aLive's play, told him he's aggressive, he's very multi-drop oriented as well, so he should have that into consideration deciding on the kind of builds he wants to open up with. But Fnatic aLive is not joking around, man. This guy's a Code S player. He just recently came off a victory from IPL 4, which I believe happened, was it last month or a few weeks ago, I think?
Very recent.
Yeah, very, very recent. So he definitely has sort of the stronger advantage coming into this match. But let's take a quick look at the openings from the players. It looks like Fnatic aLive, getting a very standard barracks timing down. Minigun opening up with a gateway as well as a cybernetics core. So very standard openings thus far from our players. And the question is aLive going to grab gases, do a little bit of aggression, or is he going to go for that very typical one racks expand? It's all going to come down to scouting from Minigun, and that's going to be something we have to watch out for, is exactly the gas count that both players go for.
Yeah, Minigun also has a very creative style. Some of the, like, if you go to YouTube and just look for crazy plays or something, Miniguns are going to be up there. There's this one famous play he did, and actually, conveniently enough, was able to watch it live. It was from King of the Hill, Grandmaster King of the Hill or something by Ascend and Thundertoss.
Top 200 King of the Hill.
Yeah. I forgot who he was playing, but it was a Terran player, and he did like... First of all, his force field control and storm control is phenomenal. He surrounded Banelings. Oh, it's a Zerg player. He surrounded Banelings with a force field and then stormed in the middle of the force field. So he like put a donut, a ring of death around the Banelings, and then just stormed on top of them, killed absolutely everything. It was so fun to watch. And of course, you can find that on YouTube. And of course, you have those PVZs where he uses the Warp Prism to keep his opponent out of his main base, and then is able to have just really good control with that Warp Prism. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store for us here, as aLive is in fact going for that one racks fast expand. Minigun did scout this out. He scouted the lack of a gas in his opponent's base, and unless they're doing some sort of crazy proxy rack shenanigans, it's probably going to be it's absolutely going to be a one racks fast expand, and I'm sure Minigun knows exactly what's going on. Bunker going down for aLive as well. We'll have to see what Minigun does. Does he try to tech up? Does he take an expansion of his own? Or does he go for a lot of pressure?
Yeah, and the build aLive is doing right now has become really, really standard in TVP. You open up with the racks expand, you follow it up with 2 barracks. Now the question is he going to go ahead and take his 2 additional gases? He's actually going to throw down another barracks. And this is a really, really interesting option, because what he can do here is he's not going to have early Marauders, obviously, because there's not going to be any kind of gas on the map. But he can go ahead and transition and go with a little bit of heavy marine aggression onto Minigun. And the problem is the build Minigun is going for, he's going for the very traditional one gateway expand. The Nexus has been put down for Minigun. And something I just want to emphasize on, or something that you mentioned earlier. Minigun's PVZ, he does use a lot of Warp Prisms. So what I'm going to be watching for in this match is, does he do the same in PVT? Because if you use it properly, it can actually do significant damage to the Terran player's economy. And aLive, man, adding another barracks, so he's going to be up to 5 barracks. And, just looking at this build, this is going to be some early marine pressure coming out from aLive.
Yeah, man. aLive still hasn't taken a gas. He's going to be making nothing but marines here. The question is, will Minigun be prepared for this? Now, if aLive was cute, which he is, which he's probably going to do, he's going to send a few, probably like 5 or 6 marines to the watchtower maybe to try to clear out this stalker. because the key with this build, you want to try to hide it as long as possible. And
Yeah.
did he add? Okay, I thought there was another barracks. So what he could do is send a portion of Marines to the Watchtower to get rid of that, or he can go a different attack path and just try to take Minigun off guard. Looks like he's sending about 8 Marines to the Watchtower here, so we'll have to see how Minigun reacts. He sees it and he backs out immediately. Actually going to try to kite all the way back to his base. That's a great idea. And we'll see, man. Minigun behind this has 2 additional gateways, so 3 gateways total, and a robotics facility. And we'll have to see what he ends up doing here. Adding on 2 forges, so he's going to be teching up a little bit right when a bunch of aggression is coming his way.
Yeah, but something that Minigun has for him is he did add 2 additional gateways, so he wasn't playing this greedy, getting a robo, then going for upgrades. He's going to be on 3 gateways, and aLive is going to move across the map right now. We'll touch around the watchtowers. Minigun is going to spot this, and he is... I don't know if he's prepared, man. 50 supply to Minigun, 61 for aLive. He's getting an observer, so he will be able to do a little bit of scouting information. But just look across the map right now. Marines are making their way across the map. Just to be exact, 27 Marines on the map right now for Fnatic aLive. Minigun warping in additional sentries, getting a few pylons, almost getting supply blocked. 56 out of 60 Minigun. aLive is going to make his way across the map. Ramp right now. Force fields are going to go off, so he is going to be able to trap some of these Marines. But oh my god, look at the angle aLive is coming in from. He's coming in from multiple angles. Quickly takes out all of these units from Minigun, and it is looking a little bit problematic for Minigun right now. aLive still continuing to rally units across the map, and Minigun is in a really, really dire straits position right now, man.
Yeah, aLive taking Minigun completely off guard. Minigun was comfortable. He's like, all right, I can handle these Marines. No big deal. But all of a sudden, Marines come from a completely different location. Flank Minigun. He is caught completely off guard. Great build. Great play there from Fnatic aLive. And he's going to take a quick game 1. So we're going to get a map choice from Minigun. And then we'll be jumping into game number 2 in this best of 7. Can Minigun come back? Or will aLive just take the series with a sweep? We'll have to wait and see. Game 2 coming up after this quick commercial break. Alright guys, welcome back to the CSN All-Stars show match, the first one we have between Minigun and aLive. Currently, aLive is up 1-0, quite a convincing win. What do you make of that game, man? And you have to unmute your mic, by the way. Mute your mic. Your mic is muted?
Yeah, man. aLive just played a really solid game overall. I really liked the way he opened up with his racks. He didn't get gas, so he obviously was putting on pressure with the Marines. But Minigun, you know, just the build order he had was not sort of giving him in a defensive position to be able to hold off an attack like that. But with that being said, man, aLive is going to go up 1-0 in this best of 7. Game number 2 here will be on MLG Daybreak, and we're going to go.
All right. Into game number 2. Top right-hand location. we have the blue Protoss player. Minigun from Team Complexity has some work to do here as I adjust the scoreboard. Don't want to forget to do that. Has some work to do here against his opponent in the bottom left-hand location. The purple Terran player aLive from Team Fnatic. And yeah, Minigun, one might say, got the worst end of a build order. He did put down 2 forges, took both of his gases at his natural expansion, had a robotics facility on the ground. That's a lot of teching. And when your opponent, when your opponent isn't teching at all, aLive was making exclusively Marines from what, 5 barracks? It's dangerous. It's dangerous for the Protoss player. And not only that, aLive played it really well. So Terran players at home, do what he just did. What you do is you send a portion of your army to the watchtower, clear out the stalker. Send the other half of your army around the edge of the map to flank or take your opponent off guard. It's a fantastic way to play not only the Terran race, but to play StarCraft itself. It's a game of information. If your opponent sees one portion of your army and is like, hey, that's his whole army, he's probably doing stuff behind this, they're not necessarily going to be prepared for the surge of aggression you're going to be throwing at them. So really nicely played by aLive, and Minigun did choose this map, so we'll have to see how he adjusts his build and what he decides to do.
Yeah, and this is a good map choice by Minigun. It's a pretty large map, Daybreak, so he is going to be able to possibly go for a very similar opening as he did in Game 1 with the Gateway Expand. Now, the question is, if aLive goes for a similar build, which might be possible, it still might actually catch Minigun a little bit off guard. It's similar, I would say it's a similar rush distance as ESV Cloud Kingdom. Both pairs are obviously cross positions, so it's all going to come down to the build order aLive is going to go for, as well as Minigun. Thus far, both players are opening up, yet standard similar to the previous game. Barracks this time is actually going to be at the choke of aLive, so he's going to try to wall off, possibly deny a few probes coming into the base to get a little bit of scouting information. But yeah, man, Minigun, after that first game, has to be playing a little bit more defensive, possibly throw down additional gateways to be able to hold off any kind of early bio pushes from aLive and possibly delay his tech, because his double forges were super quick. And you can't really be teching off super quickly like that against a player like aLive, because he will punish for you. He will punish you for doing that stuff.
Yeah, especially considering the build. And I'm wondering if aLive is going to do the same sort of thing. He is adding on that command center. Minigun scouted this. He sent his probe after his pylon, which some might say is a little bit early. But again, Minigun just wanting to know exactly what his opponent is doing. Saw the lack of gases at his opponent's main, so knows this is probably going to be a one-rack fast expand. The probe looks like it's scouting for additional barracks. Always a nice thing to do, just to make sure your opponent isn't doing that proxy shenanigans. But behind this, Minigun playing extremely standard, getting that cyber core, getting that first gas. And I'm wondering, is he going to go for a fast expand once again? And how fast is he going to tech this time? Because it looks like aLive adding on a lot of barracks again.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught last game. Did Minigun actually go Zealot first, or did he just immediately Chrono Boost the Stalker out?
I don't remember.
Okay, because I have a feeling the first game he just went for that first initial Stalker, and then the second game he decided to go for a Zealot. So this is cool. I really like this opening for Minigun. A lot of players just don't even get the Zealot. They go immediately into Stalker. But getting the Zealot and getting the Stalker gives you a little bit more map presence. Rather than you waiting for the Terran to be aggressive, you can go ahead and make your move across the map with that Zealot, which is, pretty damn good early on against Marines. But if you look at the opening again of aLive, this time he is going to finally grab both his gases. Instead of adding 5 barracks, he did add 2 additional barracks. So he's currently going to be off of 3 barracks production. And Minigun going for what he knows best, man. 1 gateway expand. The Nexus has been thrown down for Minigun. A second gas on the way as well. And the question here is, Minigun, is he going to tech quickly? Is he going to go for that robotics facility? No, he's not, and this is beautiful. He's going to go for an additional gateway, possibly throw down another gateway. And there it is. So he's going to go for the 3 gateway expand, going to delay his tech a little bit. But with that being said, Minigun is going to establish that natural. The natural already has been established here for aLive, and going to get a tech lab. So we're going to possibly see some Marauders here on the map very soon.
SCV coming forward in the Sentry, completely whiffing. So aLive going to get plenty of scouting information here. The Sentry just walking right by that SAV, and Minigun has to be a little bit frustrated that the SAV got in there, able to scout these 3 gateways at the same time. Minigun advancing to the front of aLive's natural expansion, trying to kite away from those Marines, doing a decent job at that. Remember, Stalkers, they can afford to lose this blue health. The green health, that's what they don't want to lose. That's their that's their important stuff. But yeah, 3 gateways here from Minigun, and there has been in the PvT metagame right now, Protoss players trying to do little pushes around the 7-minute mark, trying to exploit the lack of stim. But the Marines coming forward, Minigun losing a Stalker, almost losing a second, has to back away, has to be very careful. And once again, aLive knows exactly what his opponent is doing, so feeling very confident coming out to the middle of the map with these Marines.
Yeah, that's painful, man. You don't want to be losing stalkers early on in this match. They're they're not expensive, but your resources aren't fully established at this point yet. But Minigun does have a few proxy pylons across the map. As you said, he does have his 3 gateways, so he might be going for a little bit of pressure. And the problem here is aLive only has 1 bunker. So if Minigun gets enough units out on the map, possibly warping in a few sentries for force fields there, we see 2 sentries being warped in for Minigun, and he is looking like he wants to make his way into the ramp, and Minigun actually getting a little bit aggressive, trying to focus down the bunker. The bunker might actually go down. SCV's pulled off force fields again. Minigun, of course, known for having great force fields. He is going to kill the bunker off, but SCVs are pretty good against stalkers and sentries. They're going to get pulled off. They're going to be able to clean some of these units, and Minigun looks like he is going to go back home. But in the main, there is a marine attack into the main of Minigun. 55 supply to 47 to Minigun. Minigun in a little bit of trouble yet again, trying to warp in additional stalkers. Probes being forced off of the mineral line. And this is, you know what? Double attack from both players, but the problem is Minigun is going to lose a lot of probes in this engagement. He is managing to keep his stalkers alive, but aLive is playing this really, really, really well.
Yeah.
That was just caught off position, way off position.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to having control of the watchtowers, knowing what your opponent is throwing at you. Again, those Marines caught Minigun completely off guard, tried to run some of his probes into his main base, tried to get a sentry down to try to force field off the bottom of the ramp, but aLive was eventually able to get by, get into the main base, and do a lot of damage to the economy of Minigun. And now, aLive is ahead 63 to 41 in that supply count, 42 to 32 in the harvester count, with +1 on the way. Medivacs should be in production very soon here, and this is definitely a very scary situation for Minigun. He doesn't have too many units on the map, 3 stalkers, a sentry, hasn't teched at all, adding on a Twilight Council, and this is going to be so difficult for him right now, because he has to focus on rebuilding that economy, chrono boosting those probes, somehow having units to defend against any potential early aggression, any additional aggression from his opponent, and he needs to eventually tech up so he can actually keep up with his opponent in that regard. So Minigun definitely has an uphill battle here in the rest of this game. Very good early game from aLive.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at the response from aLive. He's actually going to throw down
smart.
2 additional barracks.
He's got a drop in the main too of Minigun.
Yeah, and GG, man.
Yeah, you can't do anything against that drop, especially when you lose all those units early, and of course his 3 stalkers with the watchtower, and I'm pretty sure Stim was done. So nothing Minigun could do there after that point. You know, give me your thoughts about the game a little bit.
Well, basically, Minigun opened a little bit more of a safer build. He did get 2 faster gateways in the previous game. But the thing is, he was pressuring at the front with the 3 gateways. I really, really liked that. He was able to kill the bunker. But at the same time, aLive managed to sneak a few Marines around the map, got into the natural of Minigun, took out a lot of probes in the main. Minigun was sort of put in this position, like, do I attack in the front or do I just defend at home? And he was trying to do both at the same time, and it just didn't work out. He warped in units at the main, but the problem is aLive came in with a really, really solid, strong timing. Minigun didn't have the right units.
He didn't even see it.
The thing, yeah, he didn't even see it. And
Gotta
the thing
see
is,
that.
behind that, aLive was actually going to go for a second timing because he added 2 additional barracks. And the harvester advantage was obviously in the favor of aLive. Minigun pretty much, didn't have the right tech up and just wasn't able to hold off the aggression from aLive. So a solid play overall from the Terran player. And Minigun has some work to do, currently down 2-0 in this best of 3 series. And
7.
I hope he's able to take best of 7, excuse me. And I hope he's able to take the next match.
We'll see. We'll be right back, guys, with after a quick commercial break with Minigun versus aLive. aLive currently up 2-0. Can Minigun come back? He's regarded as a hero of us all. Chad Mother effin' Jones. He can do it, man. I think he can do it, but we'll see. Don't go anywhere, guys.